Hey, what's up, Jungle Force gang? Welcome back with another video. And today we're gonna essentially switch it up a little bit. Today we're gonna talk about anime relationship. This is the Naruto edition, and we're gonna talk about how realistic the relationship is, how toxic, all of those things. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. Just got done working out from the gym, so whew, gotta catch my breath. Anyway, as always, if you rock with your boy, if you love my video, love my content, please like and subscribe and put on post notifications. And with that, let's get started with today's video. So let's go with, I'm gonna try to talk about all of the main relationships in the Naruto verse. And yeah, so I'm thinking Choji and the Cloud woman, the woman with the red hair from the Cloud Village or Land of Lightning, whatever. I forgot her name. We're gonna do Ino, Sly, Sakura, Sasuke, Naruto, Hinata, Tamari, Chikamaru. Trying to see, am I missing anybody else? Okay, I think those pretty much are the main relationships in Naruto, and we're gonna rate them, and we're gonna see how realistic they are, in modern times, in their times, and all that jazz. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get this relationship out the way. I'm going to go ahead and do Shikamaru and the Cloud Shinobi. Now, I don't know if there's any novels that kind of go more in depth about their relationship, but I do not like I don't know how that relationship started. So because I don't know, I'm just gonna go based off of what I've seen so far in the Boruto series, which is not much, but based off of what I see, I guess I get a relationship a 7, mainly because I don't think, however they got together, I don't think it was in a toxic setting. Obviously, the Cloud Shinobi have chosen, Chozi for a reason, and the fact that Chozi chose a Cloud woman who's outside of their village shows. I believe that though a lot of people not, was wondering how did that happen. It brings forth a lot of oh, that looks like a relationship that's not non-judgmental. So from that standpoint, I would give it a 7. I can't really give it anything else because I don't really know how they relationship look, what they relationship look like, and things of that nature. But so far, it just seemed like, hey, they good. They got a kid. The kid looked like Chocho, she looked like she living in a healthy household. So I'm going ahead and give that relationship a 7. Now, this is a relationship that I can go more in depth about, and that's Sly and Ino. Now, if I'm really being honest with you, we don't really see too much of that couple, but we know essentially how that couple ended up being together, right? And based off of how they got together, the reasoning behind why they got together, I'm going to go ahead and say this is potentially one of my least favorite couples. And I'm going to go ahead and just say I'll give it like a 6. Now, I forgot the blonde boy, that son name, Inoche or something like that. Obviously he seemed like he, is living in a pretty decent household. He have received training from both his parents, since he know how to do the art jutsu from Sly, and he's learning a little bit about the mind controlling jutsu from his mother Ino. The reason why I would give it a 6, to be honest, looking in, if you just met these couples and you don't know the history or the reasoning why, to be honest, it might have received a higher rating. But because I know the full story and why they got together, it's just not convincing enough for me. Literally, picked Sly because Sly reminded her of Sasuke. And if we're going into the more aspect and in reality, you should never choose anyone based off of them reminding you of somebody else. That means you still have some type of soul ties to that other person, and if you have that type of tie with that other person, then your ass need to, heal or do something to forget about that person and then give that next person a chance. Literally, when she seen Sai, she's like, "Oh, he cute. He remind me of Sasuke." That's like you literally picked this dude because he remind you of another nigga. Come on now, come on now. So if I'm being honest, and Sly, if you looking at Sly, like Sly was kind of fucked up in the head. He didn't really have any emotions. He didn't really, I think he's gaining emotions. And to be honest, I think they both picked each other for non quote unquote lovable reason. Sly literally picked a woman because the woman thought he was attractive. And since he's trying to gain emotions, he's like, sure, why not talk to, I don't think he really liked it, especially when they got together. But after being together for so long, they probably, they got a kid. I guess they grew to like each other. Plus, I don't think they see enough of each other with Sly being the head of the Armbu or whatnot, and her, doing her flower business. Plus, is the head? She's the head of the mind control unit. So they both pretty busy. So when they do see each other, they both look good enough to just smash. So hey, it works for them. I get a relationship of 6. If they had a more meaningful connection, then it'd be a little bit different. But me personally, I thought would have picked Chosy. I think if she would have picked Chosy, not only would that show that would not only would that have given a little bit more of a non-judgmental type of character, a little bit of character development, since she always picked like the attractive guys. Her actually falling in love with someone like Choji, I thought that would have been pretty cool, And I remember when they was kids, it seemed like Choji and Ino might have been a thing. But I mean, hey, they good friends. And to be honest, when you really think about it, a lot of relationships in today's society is based off of attractiveness. But the fact that she was attracted to another man, I mean to Sly, based off of another man, that's really the main issue here for me. Like, shoot, if you just say, "Oh, he's attractive," and he made her forget about Sasuke, cool. But her first thought was, "Oh, he looks similar to Sasuke," and since she couldn't get with Sasuke, she picked Sly. So, going in with. We're going to go ahead and get Sasuke and Sakura out the way. I know a lot of people hate Sakura. I'm not the biggest fan of Sakura, though. I would say Boruto Sakura and movie versions of Sakura is pretty dope. Or a decent written character. But overall, Sasuke and Sakura, like, to be honest, I kind of saw that. I always figured that Sasuke and Sakura was going to be together. I don't mind them being together for the sake of anime and for the sake of entertainment, but I feel like Kishimoto could have written a relationship with a little bit more depth and more development. And because of that, I'm gonna have to give that relationship a 4 because of the things that went on between those two. Like, I feel like there was hints that Sasuke and Sakura was going to get together based off of what happened in OG Naruto. Like, to be honest, there's really no other woman Sasuke can really get with, and Sakura, based off of her mentality in her mind, there was no other man that she can get with other than Sasuke, despite having Naruto, a good guy. And this is actually a good example of bad boys always winning, right? This is why a lot of men in today's society, essentially put on that persona of a bad boy, because they feel like, hey, when I treat a woman with respect and all of this, I don't get that woman. Versus when I just, do whatever, I get that woman. And you can't tell me Sasuke was being his full self. Sasuke was not his full self when he was on that evil rampage. Now, Sasuke is one of my favorite characters, but the current Sasuke, Boruto Sasuke, I think is the best version of Sasuke that we have seen. And maybe if Sakura would have felt in love with this version of Sasuke, it would have made a little bit more sense. But just how they got together, just that part is a little bit, I guess you can say, toxic. Like, what is the chances of you falling in love with somebody who tried to, kill you? I think if Kishimoto would have made, like, when Sasuke and Sakura met in Shippuden on the bridge after Sasuke got done fighting Danzo, if Sasuke would have hesitated or start thinking about, or they showed clips of Sasuke thinking about Sakura and the good times they had when they was teammates, I think that would have been the perfect time, and that would have showcased that maybe Sasuke had some type of feelings for Sakura. But instead, it looked like Sasuke was on straight kill mode. That was the perfect opportunity, similar to when they was kids, when Sasuke and Sakura, when they was children, when Sasuke left the village, Sakura hugged him, begged him not to go. But Sasuke knocked her out because he knew the path that he was going to was going to lead to destruction, and he didn't want Sakura to be a part of that. And he even thanked her. This is the only time we've seen Sasuke really thank the girl. So for me, that was a good indicator that maybe down the line, if they save Sasuke, Sakura and Sasuke will be together. But they didn't really develop their relationship in Shippuden, or they didn't give any signs that Sasuke cared too much about Sakura. Also, when Sasuke had the curse mark and Sakura was able to calm Sasuke down. So those was two pivotal points where I knew Sasuke and Sakura was going to get together. It's just the execution of those two was done poorly. And that's what makes it toxic, and that's why I got to give it a 4, because realistically speaking, just overall, Sasuke and Sakura, like all the things that happened that led up into them being together, that it was like a little too much. Even towards the end, before Sasuke fought Naruto, Sasuke was like, I don't even know why she likes me. Like they never brought up the real reason for why Sakura like Sasuke. Now, granted, to be honest with you, like it's cool to have like puppy dog love, kitty love, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? But as Sakura grew, and this is where the development stand for comes from. Like, there's plenty of girls that I liked it back in my childhood that I thought was cute. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially lust. That's essentially you just looking at the person. But then those same girls, some of them I got to know, and I was like, nah. Sasuke don't seem like he even have a solid personality, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So in grand scheme, Sakura is the one that's hurting. Sasuke, he goes about his business and he does what he does. Sakura, she kind of got to sacrifice a lot just to be in a relationship with Sasuke. So overall, I think that relationship have gotten better in Boruto. But at the beginning, realistically speaking, anyone who would have seen something like that would have been like, oh yeah, this is a toxic situation, right? With that being said, I'm going to go with Naruto and Hinata. Now, these last two, Naruto, Hinata, Shikamaru, and Tamari, are my favorite two couples in the Naruto verse. And it showcased, with Naruto, he used to like Sakura. This showcased how people can essentially move forward, move on. When Naruto did end up getting with Hinata, Naruto wasn't thinking about Sakura. Naruto didn't compare Hinata to Sakura, and that is why the other relationships, I think, fall short, because, well, except for Choji and the Cloud Shinobi, I gave them a 7. Sai 6, Sakura, Sasuke 4. So Ino and Sakura, their relationships fall short is because I feel like either they compared their current partner with another person, or it was a toxicness, some type of it was a toxic environment between the two, if that makes sense. So with Naruto Hinata, yes, Naruto did not notice Hinata, and a lot of people might say, yeah, well, why Hinata never stopped loving Naruto, even though Naruto didn't pay her attention? Well, the Naruto Hinata situation is a little bit different. Naruto didn't he didn't know Hinata liked him. He didn't know Hinata liked him, and he never tried to hurt Hinata, right? So, and for God's sakes, like when something did happen to Hinata, remember Nechi versus Hinata? Naruto dipped his hand in her blood, and swore to Nechi, like, "Yo, bro, like what you did is wrong." You know what I'm saying? For God's sakes, in Naruto versus Pain, Naruto went crazy seeing. So Naruto always viewed Hinata as a friend. He just didn't know that friend liked him. You know what I'm saying? And once he found out that that friend liked him, he not only did he accepted her feelings, his eyes was open up. It's like if like me as a man, like if I see a woman that I like, right, who's attractive, but she doesn't give me the time of day. But then there's another woman who's just as attractive, if not more attractive, but maybe I just didn't notice her, but she come to me and she expressed that, yo, she always had these feelings for me. My mind is, me, at least this me personally, I don't know about any other man, me personally, I'm going to forget about the woman that I couldn't get with. I'm going to talk to this woman, and I'm not going to try to compare. I'm going to solely talk to this woman. That's one of the reasons why Naruto and Hinata, I think, is one of the best couples. It has some history. Hinata also did not just like Naruto just for the sake of liking Naruto. Thought he, she might have thought he was attractive, but she liked it, the passion. She literally liked it, Naruto, for who he was as an individual. Just like Naruto accepted Hinata for who she was as an individual. Hinata's not a fighter. She's not all of that. But, she's shy, and Naruto accepted all of that. Hinata accepted who Naruto was, the troublemaker, all of these things, And once they collide, they got a pretty good family structure. They got 2 kids. They got a house. Naruto is the leader of the village. Like, I don't know what would be the issue between Naruto and Hinata. Some people thought Kiba and Hinata was going to get together. I already knew that Naruto and Hinata was going to get together because throughout, even in fillers, I know people say fillers it's not canon, but I do think there's truth to certain fillers, right? And I think there was multiple hints about Naruto and Hinata, getting together. The Naruto Nechi fight, Naruto versus Pain. There was a couple of fillers when Naruto Hinata was sitting down and Naruto ate one of Hinata rice cakes, and he's like, "Man, you'll be an amazing wife." So even at a young age, Naruto knew how good of a woman Hinata was. Naruto probably just didn't think Hinata liked him, and when he realized she did later on in Naruto the Last, that's when they connected, and that's when they just been together. And from that point forward, Naruto haven't even mentioned Sakura. Naruto stopped looking at Sakura in that way. This is very different from Ino and Slide, where the moment seeing Slide, all she thought about was Sasuke. Now, that probably changed later on, but still. So this is why I like Naruto and Hinata. I think it had a little bit more, morally speaking, a realistic take. And it just shows that, hey, sometimes you got to move on. So with that being said, I'll give that relationship, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10. I like the relationship. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10. I think everything that they do just works, With that being said, let's move on to another favorite of mine, and that's Shikamaru and Tamari. Come on, what else can I say about the two? It's a 10. Come on. They had connections all the way up until when they met each other. Tamari always pushes Shikamaru to be his utmost best. I think Shikamaru, as a man, he holds it down for his family. Tamari is a good support system for Shikamaru. They got a brilliant kid. There's nothing I can really think about that is bad. You know what I'm saying? They started off as friends, and they grew to like each other, really like each other. I think that's the perfect combination. I think that's the perfect, if you're trying to get to know somebody, man, y'all need to start off as friends. Nowadays it's like, hey, man, man gotta go and take women out on expensive dates, or man go ahead and take women out on these expensive dates expecting something in return. Is like, how about y'all just go on a walk? You know what I'm saying? Really connect with each other. Shit, just go off for coffee or some shit and just talk. Go on dates that build your inner souls with each other compared to going on materialistic dates, because that's just gonna hide who the person actually is, if that makes sense. So I don't know. But this is the Naruto edition of love, anime love or romance, whatever you want to call it. This is my take on the Naruto relationships. If you guys like these types of videos, this type of content, again, like, subscribe to my channel. Appreciate you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos that I have planned for you guys. All right, peace.